Right, well hello guys, it's been a little while since I've done one of these videos, but I have had a few requests about a particular rig actually, which I call the 360 Multi Chod, but the main thing about it is the Double Albright Knot. And to start this rig, you want to start off with 7 inches of either chod filament, which is what we actually sell, but in my own fishing I tend to use this, but over on Choice Rigs we use mouth trap. So any sort of like stiff mono, stiff fluorocarbon, you know, chod filament, that kind of thing. This is 050 for the record. So 7 inches of that. The common hooks for this rig would be one with an outturned eye, because it is essentially like a, you know, sort of a chod rig or a hinge stiff rig. But I actually like wide gapes with them. These are the new advanced UFBs, so should be bang on for this time of year. This one's coming out with me actually. This one's coming fishing with me. And I just think with that ultra fine barb, close to the point, at this time of year, any gentle pickup is going to hopefully result in a take. Now, so I've just passed obviously both tag ends through there, and will attempt to put on my hook bait attachment. Use whatever you like there, whether it's a micro swivel, rig ring, which is probably popular with a lot of guys, or a bait screw. So that's what we're at. That's where we're at the moment. I'll come on to why I like to use a one without an outturned eye in a second, but as you can see at the moment, that's looking really sort of aggressive off the chod filament, or the fluorocarbon in this case. Now, there are other videos. I think this rig probably became popular, I don't know, I've been using it about 5 years, retailing them for about 4 years, and I think they've probably been popular for around about the same time. And there are a few how-to videos out there on how to make them. But there are a couple of real key points that I think just help. Now, the first one is, whatever tool you want to use, put it in there to make that. That's obviously your D. That's essentially your D, and just leave it in there. That has not got to come out now for some time, and I'll explain why that's handy in a minute. Now we're going to make the length of our chod section. So, you know, it's down to taste. I'm just going to pinch that at around about, I don't know, what is it, 3/4 of an inch, something like that. Double it over to create a loop, which is what we're going to tie our first Albright to. Now you want to take off about, I don't know, 7 inches of braid will do you. Incidentally, those are the same bloody katran scissors that I've been using for 6 months, and they're still chopping like razors, which is absolutely bonkers, believe you me. Right, so 6 to 7 inches, 7 or 8 inches of your chosen soft braid. Now, I like Enduro. The reason I like Enduro, which I've said before, is A, it's bomb proof, but B, I can really control the knot. And I shouldn't have done that, because we don't need to take it off the spool, because I'm getting confused. Never take things off the spool unless you absolutely have to. Right, and there's a very good reason for leaving this on the spool actually with this particular rig. So through the loop, and just leave that hanging, and then we're going to go round 7 or 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now, the reason it's good to leave it on the spool is because it keeps everything in place, so that when I pass the tag end back through, I've got no chance of putting it in front of what's hanging down. So you want to go behind. So this is all hanging down, keeping it nice and straight. I'm going to go through the loop like so, and I'm just going to grab the barrel that I've just created and pull it down to the bottom of the rig. That leaves you with 2 tag ends, you know, the tag end and the bit that's attached to the braid. Grab both to clamp the knot down initially, and then you can just grab the bit that's attached to the braid to, you know, properly tighten it up. Now, let's get rid of any excess at the moment, so that can go, and the tagging can go. Now, when I said 7 or 8 inches, this is the bit where we want to cut off 7 or 8 inches. So we'll go 7, and then what we're ended up with is that. And remember, that has stayed in there the whole time. I've not taken that out of the rig once. Okay. So then it's onto your boom section. Now, there's a few ways of doing this. You could, this is probably going to be the most common and the most easy way, which is just to do your second Albright and then finish it with a figure of 8 loop. So on she goes, and this is probably, I don't know if you're at all interested, which I guess you are because you're watching it, but this is probably the most interesting bit, and it applies to any Albright knot, no matter what you're doing or how you're doing it. So I'm actually going to use the barrel of the first Albright to trap the loop that I've just created there, and then I'm going to pinch it. Now, when you're doing your Albrights, I've just got that bloody hook in my finger. That's it. When you're doing your Albright, something to bear in mind is the tighter you do your whips, we're going to do 8 or 7 or 8. 1. Now I'm really making these tight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I've made those as tight as I possibly can together. That means when you, and I'm going to go back through the way that I went in. What that means is the tighter you do those whips, now I've just pulled that knot up to the other one, okay, like that at the moment. And now I'm going to pull on the tag end and on both ends, and I'm going to start to tighten the knot now, right? The tighter you do your whips on an Albright knot, the less slip you'll get when you tighten it down. Now I'm looking for about 10 mil between those knots. We'll just check that. There you go, it's just under 10 mil, I don't know, what is it, about 8 mil, something like that. And just to give you a bit of a reason why I personally like this rig and why they are so popular, I think there's 2 reasons. The big one for me is, wherever there is a rig like a hinge stiff rig that relies on a swivel to create its movement, if I can get rid of that swivel and replace it with braid, then I will always do it for 2 reasons. 1, you've got more movement. I don't care what anybody says, there's more movement in a little bit of braid than there is in any swivel on the market, whether that's, you know, a bearing swivel, whether that's Teflon coated, whatever it is. You are not going to get that amount of movement. You just won't with a swivel, I don't believe anyway. So that's what we've got. And 2, I trust my knots over any swivel. I've said that before and I'll say it again. You know, I don't think that knot, you know, I would have more faith in those than I would in any swivel. So those are my reasons for not wanting to use a swivel. Now, that's essentially the rig. All we've got to do now is set the length of the boom. So with this, we'll do a figure of 8 loop. And I've said it before, onto the ruler. And if you want a 7-inch boom, actually what we'll do is you'll want to put an anti-tangle sleeve on now. So give yourself a little bit of play, find an anti-tangle sleeve by magic. There we go. On she goes. I mean, obviously, with the figure of 8 loop knot, can be a bit of a bugger with thick material to get the loop out, to get the anti-tangle sleeve over. So 7-inch boom, I will pinch at 7 1/4, right? Do my figure of 8 loop. I would wet the knot now, but I'm going to do the, I won't do the disservice of, have I just buggered that up? Yeah, right, let's go again. Figure of 8 loop. Yeah, I'm not going to spit on the knot because I just don't think it looks very nice, but you should do about now. And again, that here, that has not come out of the rig once, right? That has held everything in place for that through you know, from start to finish. And now I can just grab hold of it, tighten my knot down, and job is a good one. Now there is a couple of other ways you can finish this, but look, if you just, and I'll go on to why I like a wide gape. So instinctively, that is super aggressive, right? If I don't want it quite so aggressive, I've just got to bend that out a little bit, you know, and any chod filament or sort of, you know, mono or fluoro of a certain diameter, you know, 0.50 or above, or somewhere in that region, it will shape, you know. So I don't worry about putting great big bends in it and all that kind of thing. You know, that for me is perfect. Now, if you imagine that in a fishing situation, all that movement, you know, that's no matter which way a carp comes from, the rig can spin really, really easily and sort of take presence. I would recommend putting putty over this knot here, just to give it a bit of a pivot point, really. And also the beauty of these rigs is you can change the hook. All I've got to do is slip that off, slip a new hook on, and you're ready to go, you know, and they'll last you forever. Now, the other way of attaching your boom, if you want a slightly stronger knot, is to tie get a piece of fluorocarbon or whatever you want your boom to be, make a perfection loop in one end. I have done a video on this loop. So perfection loop is stronger than a figure of 8, and you will get a really nice exit that's straight out the middle of the knot, which I hope you can see there. So then I could basically set the length of my boom this way. So let's say I want 7 inches, fold it at 7 inches, and then actually Albright that on. Now really you should put an anti-tangle sleeve on first before you fold it, so you can side the anti-tangle sleeve up. But then again, using the, get over there you, using the barrel of the knot to pinch the loop. Just going around once, really tight, twice. I'm really trying to pull that in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go crazy and do 8. Back through this loop, and say this is because I haven't got the pulley tool stuck in there. It's actually making my life more difficult because it's not holding it in place. That is why keeping that pulley tool in place makes your life easier. But same process, pulling the knot up to butt up against the other one, grabbing the tag end, the main bit, and the soft braid, starting the knot like that. You see, and now I've got a bugger about putting pulley tools in here, which is annoying, but has to be done. In she goes. And then we've ended up with the same rig, except we've got that lovely perfection loop at the other end. So that is what I call a 360 multi-chod. For obvious reasons, it spins 360. I'm sure it's got other names. I think, you know, people like Adam Penning really championed this rig. Oz Holmes, people like that have really championed it. I don't know what they call it, but I call it a 360 multi-chod. As I say, by all means, use a hook with an outturned eye if you want to be conventional. You know, there's no harm in it. I like a wide gape, and as I say, I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up actually. The really ultra fine barb that's just on the point of this hook, you'll do well to pick it up, but we shall have a go. If you can see that, well done. But that is the 360 multi-chod. That's going out on me fishing next week, and let's say it brings me some luck. But while I'm here, have a great Christmas, a great New Year, and I will speak to you all next year.